everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing Dragonheir Silent Gods. For today's video, I'm going to go through and show you all of my 15 teams that I started using on day 1 of Otherworld Exploration for Season 3 to fight the Chaos Shadows. Today's video is sponsored by Dragonheir Silent Gods, my favorite sponsor because it's my favorite game that I've played in a long time. Be sure to join us for Season 3, Dive Deep, Battle Peak. There's a ton of new heroes, new bosses, and lots to explore. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already, and use the currently working promo codes. So before Otherworld Exploration started, I was already prepared. I had saved team presets for 15 teams, actually for 14. And then I knew Team 15 would just be the leftovers, I guess you could call them. So yeah, I'm going to show you how we're doing here. I'm going to show you what I'm using for the Chaos Shadow part of Otherworld Exploration, because it's a very easy season to do 15 teams, because we can really abuse this boss right here, the Radiance boss. We could really abuse him. And, or her. Like, yeah, whatever. Anyway. And I don't do like all of my teams against this one. I do some other ones as well. So I thought this would be a fun chance for me to just quickly go through them all and talk about their roles. And then I will show you the results at the end. But all of these teams that I'm doing, every single one of them hit 22 million before we had any alliance bonuses. So that's one of the disclaimers I do want to say is, let's go in here first so I can show you. So I saved 15 teams. I saved them before I came into Otherworld. I tested almost all of them. There was one, there might have been one or two I didn't put gear on, but I knew it would be fine. But these were working before I had alliance bonuses. So, you're going to see me using legendary artifacts, right? And some mythic gear, yes. But, for one, you should definitely have mythic gear. It's not hard to get in Season 3. Also, legendary artifacts by Season 3. You should at least have a Witch's Remains. This artifact is free, and this one was free as well from the Elminster event. So, everyone should have these 3 artifacts in Season 3. If they don't, then it's just because you didn't play, not because you didn't spend, or didn't play enough, I should say. I guess you could say that. Although there's a debate with the Elminster one. Anyway, never mind. Onward. But yeah, I kind of want to give this disclaimer that, like, I do a whole bunch of very budget teams here, but I'm using some legendary artifacts along the way. And the fact that my teams were so easy to get to 22 million before we had the alliance bonuses, when you guys get the alliance bonuses, like I have behind me here, which go really far down, look at that, lots of alliance bonuses now. Once you guys get some of those, it's gonna kind of counteract the fact that I have a bunch of legendary artifacts. It's gonna help. This just makes it easier and easier and easier. And all these teams now hit the 22 million early, so we could cut out. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get rid of my face here. Oh yeah, and I'm here with Lily, just hanging out with Lily, by the way. So she's here with me, and we're doing okay. But yeah, she helped me do some summons for my other game. She brought the Lily luck, and she seems to like it when she gets to hang out with us. She seems to like talking, noise, music. So I think she's doing pretty good. I'm just going to let her hang out with me while I do the rest of this video. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of my face so I'm just not blocking all the stuff. Alright, so versus the Radiance boss, this is the one weak to ice. So I have a lot of very budget teams here. We have Garthen and Furboth as the core. And then Pargu is just here to be my Witch's Remains. And we have the Traveler and stuff to just shield and help keep the team alive, although I don't think we really even need her. Eli is here for the aura. But this team does get everything done very easily. There's really no need for them at this point. but having the 5-man synergy just gives them more damage and helps make it all happen even faster and easier. So that's why I went with, I didn't do any literally, this is like a 2-man team, to be honest. I could probably do it with 2 or 3, with just the first 3 at least. But I wanted to give the synergy so it can work faster. So if you're actually doing that, if you're doing these 3-man teams, just go ahead and throw a couple commons or rare heroes or whatever that are not built in there. So you have the 5-man synergy so you can get the big extra damage bonus and everything, which will make your runs faster. So the good thing with these is you only need to get 22 million. Once you get 22 million, you cut out. So yeah, that's kind of this. But all right, yeah, this one has no skill timing. And our plan is that it's Burboth as a tank with some help for this, although I'm not really worried about that. It just happens to be what's on him. He is in Puppeteer set as well to help give defense to our allies. Lily was saying hi, guys. If you didn't hear that in the background. Anyway. And yeah, that's kind of my team. Just a basic Elminster artifact for shield on her. And then we have attack and crit rate on for here. So I don't have crazy stats because I have no good crit damage gloves in the Precise Carnage set. Okay, next one up. Okay, so this boss also, it doesn't matter where we are for positioning for the sake of this boss because they hit randomly. So that's team number 1. Team number 2 versus this boss. Again, this one has Zorak in the fan. So because of the positioning, Zorak is all the way in the back to be as far away as possible from the boss. But this team here, we have Zorak, Bloodin, and Bloodin's, I mean, they're kind of the main DPS. Then Nord here is in Ravatrix Roots, but he's more secondary. Vikuk is here as the healer, and I gave him the healing artifact from Pillar of Trial that we got for free. There's a couple of free artifacts being used from last season, which is fun, for sure. And I didn't even worry about timing here as well, because Ice Blast is more about their battle skill anyway. So that's team number 2. Team number 3 versus this boss is this Radiance team here. So Sadiq is the main DPS, and then Sheena comes in second. Again, another team where the positioning is not really going to matter, except for Hexandra healing everybody. So you can group them together so she heals properly. Voresh is also going to help heal as well. And Urion is my random extra tank to help keep everybody alive. But look at my tank, Urion, is only 3-star level 70. So if he dies early, who cares? This team is still going to be fine even with that, because you don't really need a great tank for this boss because the hits are random. And again, no timings there. I don't remember if I showed that. All right, the 4th team I have here versus this boss is this team with Dristo Erden. So I actually have Okadir set to be, oops, let me pull in the equipment plan. I have Okadir set to be the tank and to apply the frost, so that way Drist can smash while enemies are under frost and do all the damage. This one is a really big damage team. It does very well, and it does allow me to cut out early. We have Gulal here, Garian, and Zethos is just here to be my witch's remains. And again, look at this, a level 50 3-star, a level 70 3-star, 2 4 stars, only 1 5-star hero in this team. So very, very easy. Next up, I have my other Radiance team this is my leftover team. So my leftover team here was me being able to use our new hero, Ladia, which was, I thought, pretty fun. So she's here, and I didn't even put Oster and Losenia in a team versus this boss, which was a crime. So they're here. And then it's really just, it's Ladia and Zephy keeping everyone alive. And then, of course, we have Sigrid here to do some damage as well. She certainly helps. And she applies attack penalty to also help keep everyone alive. So that is my final team versus this boss. I do have 5 teams versus this one. Although this team here, the one for the poison weakness, my corrosion team goes against this boss just fine. And depending on your team, guys, some people I'm seeing do every single one of their teams versus this boss. So it's definitely possible if you're struggling versus a specific one. But let's head to another boss to continue the showcase of what I'm using. So this boss here, we have the ice boss again. So he is not too hard as well. The ice boss, let me pull up, I have a few teams for this one. This boss is weak to necrosis. So my first team here has Fathom down as a tank. He's lightning, but it doesn't matter. He's really good with his team. He's also in Witch's Remains, which I love. Zadok is the main DPS and Premsa is secondary. And then we have a level 1 Enna with no gear or anything because she just helps to heal with her buff. And then we have Gaiolere also to help buff the heroes, but has no gear either. So this is another 3-man team for the most part, with nothing else needing to be worked on. No skill books on them, you know, kind of just a chill team, honestly. But that is this team. And this team does have the positioning matter. So the tank is up here to draw the boss upward. And then, of course, the summons will run up there as well if there's summons in the team. And everyone else is squished in the corner to allow for you to not get any extra damage at all. You won't get any damage. Zadok is in the middle because he has this range, and the boss is going to go upward. So Zadok needs to be able to hit him with one of those, you know, one of those spots. All right, next up we have this team versus ice. So, oops, let me load in the gear. Load, okay. So this team does have timings. Oh wait, did the last team have timings? I'm sorry. No timings on this team. Okay. No timings on this team, but this team has timings. So this team, oh, just timed Witch's Remains to go before the other Isotarian using his ult. That's it. I don't even have him booked. I probably should book him. But it's fine. But it does good without it. So same thing. Dalk is here with no books as well. Just to be my tank. So he's here again to be the tank, but only level 90. And Torin is here in front with Dalk in front of him to help keep him alive. And everyone else is shoved in the corner to where they won't take any damage. So that's kind of how this team works. And of course we have Zarloth is a great Witch's Remains with a multi-hit AoE. And yeah, again, using the free... This is a pretty budget-friendly, so to speak, set of artifacts because we're using 2 epics, 2 free artifacts, plus Witch's Remains, right? And it's Season 3, guys. Season 3. Alright, and nothing crazy for my gear. None of my gear is insane. This is one of my better gloves, I guess. But yeah, it's just... It's been hard trying to farm gear. I'm just not getting the key things I needed, but you know what? We're already in the late game, so it is what it is. Ooh, and my baby just farted trying to stink me out of my room, apparently. Alright, let's check out this team if I could handle the baby smell. Oh, dear lord. Hope she didn't poop, guys. Alright, anyway. So, we have just Yola time to have her attack penalty go on before the boss's ultimate. That's it. I think I was struggling with survivability because Espalta will die early. So, we are set up with Espalta as a main DPS along with Tatoth. Tatoth is kind of the best one. Espalta does die early. And then Taldi has the Witch's Remains. He's really good for that. But look at our tank is actually Estella. She's our tank up here. But Espalta is a melee DPS, and you can manual her to attack behind the boss and keep doing so with her ultimate. Otherwise, if you go on full auto, she attacks in front of the boss, which is not ideal. So keep that in mind for this team if you're using Espalta and you want to get good damage. You can get dramatically more if you manual the fight instead. Alright, next up, we have no more for the ice, so let's head over to the next boss. That's a fun team, though. It was a good excuse for me to build the shadow heroes. We have our fire damage boss over here. So this one is another one where I have some pretty great heroes, I would say. So this is the Necrosis boss that is weak to fire. That's what I should call it. We are using Flora plus Thea and a little 70 3-star Foley. So I do have some pretty good artifacts on those people there. Garius and the Gatekeeper to keep everyone alive. Or sorry, Garius. Cinerelle and Gatekeeper to keep everyone alive. The buff removal or prevention with Victor is awesome as well. So I love him. My other teams do not have the buff removal though. So this is the only team that I actually worry about that with. But I do have it timed to make sure that Flora is going before Foley at least. Thea goes back to her alt pretty often because of her passive, so I don't have her set. But Flora should always go before your other DPS for wild because that's how her ultimate works. Alright, so positioning wise, I have Flora in the back because she uses the fan, and that's really the only thing that mattered here. Next up for Necrosis, I have this team, another wild team. Erich as the only DPS was almost possible with Goom Gum, as I call him here, with witches and a little bit of damage. But it was just barely not enough before all my alliance buffs, so I added in a little 3-star level 70 Elfie just to help out a little bit, which was more than enough overall. But yeah, again, there is the team. And I didn't even time, even though I probably should have, for the sake of Witches Remains, it still did okay. Alright, the last fire team I use is this team here. We have Tunnelnon as the main DPS. Then I added in Rosh as some extra. I almost could do the whole thing in the beginning with only Tunnelnon. She doesn't need... Tunnelnon and Rosh don't need other heroes doing wild to be good. Tunnelnon can be the only hero, and she's just going to do her own damage as is, which is pretty cool. But she also is really good at enabling other wild heroes, so keep that in mind. But yeah, we have Tunnelnon and Ravatrix Roots. Rose is my witches. This is like a full legendary team if you want to count Tunnelnon as a legendary. Kidding, not kidding. But yeah, there is my setup there. And again, for timings, I just have Rose going before Tunnelnon for a second early to make sure she places the defense penalty thanks to Witch's Remains. But that is that boss. Alright, next we have the Poison boss. So the Poison boss here is weak to lightning. So that's where Shelter and Nimbus are my damage dealers here. Plus Vani to give them a little buff because why not? I want my 5-man synergy anyway for sake of extra stats. And yeah, that's Kirza is the tank sort of kind of with Witch's Remains and Nathaniel to keep her alive. But this is the setup. We have the ranged people are over here just chilling so that way they're not getting any attacks. And then Nathaniel's up here to be the distraction. The highest attack for this boss is going to go to Shelter. So Shelter's going to take a lot of the debuffs that the boss is going to throw at him, but it's okay because Shelter's so focused on Enlightenment that if he happens to get like crit damage or crit rate debuffs, nobody's going to care because he's still going to do his damage as is. And then my other one is this poison team right here. So in this team, my Gladius normally dies a little bit early because he's my highest attack. And I didn't make him strong enough. I needed to get that 5-star extra support there. But with Gladius being, I think, my highest attack, if I remember right, he ends up taking the extra hits, so he dies a little bit sooner than he should. But I still have no trouble getting my battles done. Full auto, and yeah, again, some pretty good stuff here. That's actually really good for... So I feel like this is made for Sutha versus this boss, by the way, guys. Dispels a debuff from himself when they cast her ultimate. It's perfect for Sutha versus this boss. And then Catherine's just here as a support. So I actually don't have a full 5-man synergy for this team because I threw in Catherine as a healer because I was running out of who I could build without having to farm a bunch of extra stuff. So that's kind of why that team is the way it is. Oops, did I check? Did we had no... Okay, no timings there as well. But yeah, that was a good team too. Let me go to the next one though. We have a couple more to show you guys. And that one positioning does matter because of the ultimate, of course. So this one is radiant damage taken as extra. So this is our lightning boss. So the lightning boss here, I use an aura team, which is already in there right now, but let me just go on it so I could show you. Where we go, lightning boss. All right. So this one here is even using the rare in Witch's Remains, and then Ferrara is here to get rid of buffs or prevent them. And then we have Theohine and Diantha as our DPS. So super simple, nothing crazy with this team. Just a really good basic aura team versus the boss that's like the ancient battlefields. And again, that's one of those where the positioning does matter as well, but it's not too bad. Alrighty, let's head over to our final boss to show you guys what I'm using. And that will be the fire boss that is weak to poison. So again, this team I actually did it with on the Radiance boss as well. This is the hardest boss for sure. And I call it my Radiance team because I was using it there. But this is my pretty well built as well as I can. Corrosion team, I don't have Rook of course. But this is what they are wearing. We have the horn on Ogog. Ergander's our tank, but I don't really need him to be there per se, but he's great for the attack penalty to keep that up the whole time. I don't think I have... Oh, I do have skill timings, right. My skill timings here were hard to figure out. This ended up working the best for me. That's right. So 19.5, 20, 20 with a 20-second rotation. Although keep in mind, Ergander is going to affect the ultimate energy stuff. But yeah, that ended up being a pretty good setup versus the fire boss, but for someone who does not have a Rook. But alright guys, that's kind of my setup. Again, I do have a lot of alliance bonuses right now, but I could do all of these even before we had all of the alliance bonuses. I was able to get 22 million on every single one of them. So I'm going to show you that screen for all of the fights to show you the total damage on full auto, just so you can see here. And then, yeah, that's kind of all I did. Really easy to do now. I struggled like the very first day. One of my teams was just like kept hitting like 20, 21. But that's about it, honestly. And so it just kind of goes to show you like, once you get those alliance bonuses, having fancy artifacts will be a little less necessary. Or again, you can just cut out of your battles early if you make them too overpowered. There's no reason to hit over 22 million versus these bosses, remember guys, because all you're doing is hitting your milestones and going through here, and the rankings are just the whole season. There's nothing to worry about like you did in the chief challenges. So that's all for this little showcase. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already. And thanks again to Dragonheir Silent Gods for sponsoring today's video.